Hey, welcome everyone to the first annual EXO Meetup Washington, D.C., and we're going to be doing these every month. My name is Steven Rodriguez, one of the ambassadors for Open EXO, and joining us here is going to be special guest Brandon Dubé, where we're going to talk about a few things, but mostly massive transformative purpose, how to build that, how to define it for yourself or your business, and then how to leverage it for the markets of tomorrow. Hello, Brandon.
Hey, how you doing, Steven?
Good. Welcome. Super excited to have you join us. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're your partner at CrowdWork.Coop, but yeah, share with the community.
Yeah, partner at CrowdWork.Coop. We're a local DC-based cooperative looking to really help people in the local economy find meaningful work and jobs. Part of what I've been inspired to do over the last few years is really get into some of the core issues around just like local workforce development. I was started off, kind of helping people really get back into the workforce. I was doing some work around returning citizens early in like 2016, and I realized it was just really hard to get back into the workforce. And I met up with one of my partners, Justin, who's probably in the audience somewhere. Hey, Justin. Um, and we really started to think about what would it mean to create an organization that could help other people flourish, especially in times like these. And that mission still holds true to today. But I'm really happy to be here and discuss more with you some of the journeys that we've been on and how the MTP has been helpful to us.
Awesome. Yep. And so massive transformative purpose for those who may not know, to have an exponential organization, you want to tap into 11 defined attributes that have been kind of extrapolated from all these successful businesses, the ones that are tapping into these markets of tomorrow. So Brandon, share with us a little bit about massive transformative purpose. What is it, and where do we start?
Yeah, great question. I have to start off with like a few quotes just to kind of put it in perspective. Peter Diamandis said, "Find something that you would die for and live for it." And I think like that encapsulates it really well. MTPs are not just a traditional vision statement or mission statement. They're beyond just your organizational boundaries or walls. They're something that kind of wake you up and get you going in the morning. There's something that you can kind of hit the ground running with every day. Some of the best advice that I've seen given is to take what we'll do today is kind of craft a few statements and you know after this call today, try to take some time to see if it really fits with you. Try it out, chew on it for a while. But the best thing you can do is try to see um, if it scares you a little bit. I think like that's the best advice that I've seen. I think like there's a quote actually by Richard Branson. Like if your dreams of your company don't scare you, they're not big enough. They're too small. So I think that's like a really good grounding purpose. So just a little bit of context. MTP stands for Massive Transformative Purpose. And really just to break down the words a little bit, massive should be something at world scale or grand challenge level, should be something that you couldn't solve in a short amount of time. It should be more of a long-term goal. That kind of helps gather some energy and momentum around what you're trying to do out there in the world. The transformative purpose is, you're moving and shifting from one state to another. The world as you're trying to live into and trying to see it is something that is new and exciting. And the purpose is something deep to your core and emotional. So we can take a few examples, and I'll share some good examples of a kind of clear MTPs and some not so clear. So if I say organize the world's information, you might recognize that as Google's MTP. And it's beyond just their search engine. It's beyond just the technological constraints of a time period. It also talks about, their willingness to get involved in automated vehicles coming out of the DARPA 2008 Grand Challenge. And that's something that can kind of last the test of time. And you see Google getting involved in a lot of different initiatives, whether it's mapping or even entrepreneurship. They're trying to find ways to bring value to their users and customers. Another example might be ideas worth spreading. You may recognize that as the TED Talks. They're always producing great and wonderful content from speakers around the world. And just some of the beautiful conversations and communities that develop from just such a simple tagline are so powerful. So again, it's not a mission or vision statement. It's a little bit beyond that. It's an aspirational tagline that provides focus and direction, and it can inspire a community to form around you, around a massive and transformative vision. I think a personal MTP for me would be, I want to develop communities that can flourish in a rapidly changing world. And that's just something that like I feel very strongly about. I think like we're in a very complex time period, where, there's on the one hand, we have, different types of twin demics or pandemics going on, where we have the economy trying to keep up with the pandemic, and we have people who are trying to find their place in the world right now, trying to maintain stability. I think a lot of that is a chance for renewal. It's a crack, it's an opening for us to develop something different. So one of the things that I would like to do is kind of share a little bit of my journey as an entrepreneur as well as a citizen of the world. I went through a program in 2016 called Starting Block that was really inspirational, and it helped me see some of the biggest challenges out there in the world as it pertained to like my worldview. I found it really hard to adapt to the workforce, just because it changes so much. It changes every year, technologically, skills wise, even just like the mindsets and the markets, like they're constantly shifting. That's just something it just takes a rapid adjustment that is kind of has not happened in the previous decades. Like we're truly in a decade, and for the next probably couple of decades of accelerated growth and transformation. I've heard like statistics that like most of the people who are, young today will be working in jobs that haven't been invented yet. And I think like that will continue to be true even for people of my generation. I think like another thing is that in order to maintain stability and quality of life, a lot of the skill sets that are needed to be developed are kind of in some ways coming out of these tensions and these different challenges that we're incorporating. And so like part of what we'll do today is take those challenges through an activity that has been set up on a Miro board. If you've never used Miro, it's a great real-time collaboration tool. And we'll kind of drill into your own challenges and context, and hopefully get you to a point where you can come up with a draft vision of what your MTP might be for yourself or your organization. And so like one more thing is I want to share like an example of a few tenuous or weak MTPs. If your MTP is something like maximize shareholder value, that's kind of a little too small and narrow. You want it to be something that's big, something that has some emotional content to it. And it should be something that you can kind of wear and be almost proud of in a good way. I think when it comes to a good MTP, it's something that should inspire you. It's something that will, drive your attentions into the world. And it's also something that is uniquely yours. It's not something that's too narrow or specific on a technology, and it's something that's really aimed at your heart and mind. So just like use that as context to hold you during this exercise. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Stephen.
Yeah, no, awesome stuff. And for anybody in the crowd, feel free to ask questions. We'll answer them as we go. You mentioned organizing the world's information as being part of Google's. I know for CrowdWork.Coop, what do you feel, or where do you think your MTB is at?
Yeah, so we're wearing the one right now. It's basically this: generate the conditions so that people may flourish in the new economy.
Awesome, awesome. And did it take you a while, or how long did it take you to get to that?
Yeah, this is the 6 months in, and it could change a few more times. I think like we're really trying to get to the essence that can attract the right people to help us build out that future.
Got it. And then I know for some folks who already have a business, if they haven't started an MTP already, is it too late for them, or what would you say there?
It's never too late. I think it's definitely something that you can start with yourself, like develop your own MTP. Even if it's just a way to get a sense of direction in your life. I don't think there's an age limit for it either. I encourage, uh, young, old, short, tall. Anybody should really just use this as a transformative tool, just to help you achieve what you're trying to create in the world.
Got it. And another question is is the MTP static, or does it ever change?
Yeah, it definitely can change. I think it's something that you have to almost use as like a workout. It's something that you come back to every day and see if it's something that really makes sense. Does it really fit you? I think it's easy to just come up with a statement and not really see the potential of it. But is it something that invigorates? I think like that's like a good check, like a good gut check. Is it something that inspires you and kind of gives you a direction of where you're going? And does it create like a sense of fulfillment that this is something that meets your needs to create in this world?
Got it. Got it. I know lots of startups here. They're looking for, hey, what's my business model? How do I make this money? But lots of successful startups aren't really focusing on, how do I make money? It's really, what is the problem to be solved? Where are people hurting? How do we solve that? And eventually, the money will find itself.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I think like the why, like finding your why is incredibly important. It's technology will change, as well as the way we kind of approach problems. So it's good to have something that can last the test of those changes. Finding something with a north star to it.
Got it. And I know we're kind of, part of this is, learning a little bit about the MTP, but really the deep dive is we're going to try to create our own MTPs. So for all of you kind of watching in, we're going to drop the link in. We're going to use a tool called Miro to kind of hop in and start kind of ideating through what could the MTP be. And so with Brandon here, he's gonna look over some of them, give feedback and advice as we go. So everything, the screen is looking good. Now I just need to pop in the link. All right. And then feel free to add in there, your MTP. We're going to show you how to start leveraging that. So link is in the chat. Feel free to join in. And so here, what we're going to do is you're going to see this beautiful picture of Brandon Dubé over here. But you're going to go scroll a little further down, and you're going to pick one of these squares. Feel free to put your name here wherever the little XX is. I guess I'll just put Steven right here. Feel free to pop in into any of these and then kind of just jot your MTP. What are you thinking about? What could it be? Or just drop in a comment in the chat. Perfectly fine. I know, Brandon, I think we've spoken a little bit before, but when it comes to my MTP, the one that I'm building for SUEGO, it's really to bridge the divide, like something around helping others who don't have access. So how would I go about starting or building my MTP there?
Yeah, like I think like I would want to know about a little bit more about I guess like the vision that you're seeing when people do have access. Like what's the opposite, just kind of like starting with the end in mind, and maybe just describing that a little bit. Maybe we can wordplay a little bit, and then we can wordsmith something together.
Yeah, no, part of the challenge I see with all these entrepreneurship events I do, or programmings and stuff that I'm a part of, is that not everybody knows about the opportunities. How do I build a startup? How do I build a business? These basic frameworks. How do I have that entrepreneurial mindset? So, usually the new majority or traditionally underrepresented groups, they find that at the last minute or they find that after the fact. So they kind of miss out on this ability to learn what is entrepreneurship. And so for me, the outcome is, how do I make sure that everybody at least knows about it? It may not be for everyone, but I want them to at least know. The opposite to answer your question is, everybody thinks that entrepreneurship is this thing that's not for them. They weren't born into it, or they don't have anybody around them that does it. So they I guess they be closed off. It could be an opportunity for them, and they just don't. They're not encouraged, or they don't have the confidence. Maybe. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, no, that's great. It feels very strong and bold, and it's a complex challenge. I really appreciate that. And I guess like one of the other things is, do you feel like it's unique?
Unique in what sense?
Just something that is unique to you, like in kind of your life journey. Like this is something you're passionate about. It speaks to your experience in the world.
I think so. I know that I'm in entrepreneurship related programming and events for my career. So I love to build what we call entrepreneurial ecosystems. So this is just one piece of the pie. Is I can do the work, but is it reaching everybody who could benefit from the work?
Mm. Yeah, and then my last question would be like, does it seem almost impossible to fully achieve, yet imperative enough for you to want to try?
Well, I feel that when it comes to new ventures, you know, new majority groups are they're there, but they're not the highest in terms of percentage. I wish I had a number to tell you. But the impact for me is, by what was it, 2050, the biggest market is going to be the new majority, these traditional underrepresented groups, and who better to serve that new and emerging market than the new majority themselves, who understand those people, their products, the services that they may need, the problems they may have.
I love that. So do you want to take a stab at maybe a how might we statement to bring that together?
Oh man. So what do I do now to? So if I wanted to start this now, what did you recommend?
So like HMW is like a phrase you'll find in the design thinking community. How might we is maybe like a question you'd ask yourself to kind of get there. And it's really just to put a point on your MTP statement. It'll help guide you down to that final sentence, that tagline that's aspirational. Unless like you do have something that's aspirational, then you can just like write the tagline. I think it's just one way to do it. If we, how might we, connect or reach? Yeah. Yeah, and that kind of helps you build the who, the what, and the why.
Got it. And I know for others, feel free to join in. Don't be shy. If you want to join in anywhere, feel free to add in some in the chat. Is there like a canvas, or is there something that people can use outside of the mirror board, or how would they kind of come up with this? Some of them might be busy, or they just don't have. They're on a mobile device. They may not be able to join in.
Yeah, I think we can definitely post some resources after the event. There are definitely guides out there. The the kind of companion to this is the moonshot. which is kind of like an experiment that can have a large return, like a 10x return. And Singularity University has created some really good kind of like worksheets to help you drill down. They actually have an exercise that maybe you can do if you're not able to join us today. Is they have 4 questions that really take maybe 10 minutes to answer. And I'll rattle off the questions while Stephen is thinking of the good examples. So when you were a child, what did you want to be before your parents, teachers, or friends told you what you should be? What is it that gave you the most joy? So like using that as a way to just kind of check in with yourself and your intention and your life experience. And then the second stage to that would be if someone gave you $1 billion and told you to use it to do something that would change the world, what would you do with it? Write down 3 ideas. And then the third stage would be like, who do you want to be a hero to? Kind of figuring out your audience. And then finally, unrestricted, what is it today that gives you joy? If you had a month off to go and learn about anything, what would be the 3 things that you would do? And again, like we'll share this worksheet after the call here, and you'll be able to access these resources. But yeah, these are ways to really drill down into the MTP development.
Got it. And I know Brandon, so I took my stab at this MTP here. So I have three three statements, help me refine, or how can I improve on these, or what mistakes am I making, you feel?
Yeah, no mistakes. I think it's just these are all bridges to kind of getting to what's something that is succinct. It's a tagline that gives you energy. So if you were to, you have four things here. So let's see, how might we reach the new majority? And then you have the audience, which is to inspire businesses of tomorrow. Then you have the action to bridge community resources, and then also another action of accelerate the new majority. So I think like what's consistent here is this idea of community and businesses in the new majority, and kind of building bridges. Like I think like that's almost what's being developed, and I think the potential that once that's realized is something that I would want to check in with you a little bit more on. What happens when we cross over to the other side? And so I think the inspire piece is like really important. So I might offer a gentle reframe of inspire businesses of tomorrow. Inspire new majority businesses of tomorrow as a start, and then like check in with you, like how does that feel, what is it missing, and then maybe just have a little bit of dialogue.
Got it. And I know for anybody that's watching, you're gonna go through this. Don't expect to get it right on your first time, and as Brandon said before, it changes over time, so things can evolve, and that's okay. We do have ExO clinics coming up later on in the year, so in February, for any of you who want to kind of share your MTP beyond the monthly meetups, want to get some ideas and a second lens on it, then the ExO meetups the clinics are probably the best way. For those who may not know, DMV Startup is one of the premier Facebook groups for the startup community here. And so every Friday we do different events, and we're focusing on ExO clinics to make sure that people kind of start learning how to leverage these attributes for an exponential organization. All free of charge. They're run by the community, so feel free to join in on them, and we'll pop in the link later on. And I know we're kind of nearing the end, but I guess, Brandon, as we kind of, and thank you again for helping me noodle on some of the MTP aspects for my business. But I guess, any parting words or anything to share about MTP, and for somebody new to this, just learning about ExO and how to start.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something you'll definitely have to noodle on and work on over time. It's almost like a skill. I would say there are a few resources to help you with that. OpenEXO has a great community with videos, as well as other members in the community that can kind of help you dialogue back and forth. I'm playing the role of a MTP coach today, so you can also leverage access to that. There's a good book called Exponential Transformation that kind of goes into depth about some of these practices and kind of how to develop an exponential organization. So there's lots of great resources and contents, and we'll link to a few after the video so you can kind of catch up on the resources.
Awesome. Thank you. And so we also kind of dropped in the chat that MTP Canvas. So if you want to kind of continue this later on, feel free to download the Canvas. It's a worksheet, so print it out or write in it, and then, refine as you go. It might take time, and that's okay. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Yep. And so we'll also put in the DMV Startup Facebook group where you can find some more information on the EXO clinics coming up. But no, super excited to have you join in on this EXO journey with us. It is the decade of EXO. So over the next, 9 years now, we started last year, but over this 2020 to 2030, we're going to see rapid increase in evolution when it comes to this abundance mindset, this new market changes because of technology, and so we definitely want to tap into all that. So as any startup or business owner, definitely keep a lookout on the future and leverage some of these attributes so that you can hit the ground running and be competitive in the market when changes and shifts start to occur. But super excited. Thank you again, Brandon. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for helping us think through the MTP a little more. And then for anybody who wants to learn more, go to openexo.com to learn more about the other attributes. And also, we're doing these every month. Next month, we'll focus on staff on demand, another attribute. And so we'll have a different guest speaker every time. And, slowly but surely, you'll get the hang of this and you'll learn how to kind of apply some of these concepts for your business to make it an exponential organization. So thank you all for your time. We're going to go into icebreakers. If anybody has time to join in for one-to-one meetings with the rest of the community, feel free to join in. We're going to drop the link in the chat. And of course, we love to just connect with you, learn more about you. And if there's any way we can support, definitely let us know. So super excited. Thank you again, all. Love your faces, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you all.